Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins All World, where we explore the fascinating world of rare coins and valuable finds. Today, we're diving into a piece of U.S. coin history that you might be overlooking, the 1971 Washington quarter dollar. You might be wondering, a quarter? How much could a quarter possibly be worth? Well, hold on to your seats, because this particular Washington quarter could be worth much more than you ever imagined. The Washington quarter has been an iconic part of American currency since it was first minted in 1932. Its design, featuring George Washington on the obverse, has remained largely the same for decades. George Washington, the first President of the United States, is depicted in profile, with a dignified expression and an iconic hairstyle that's instantly recognizable. The reverse of the coin features the American eagle, a symbol of freedom, strength, and the United States' patriotic spirit. Now, when we talk about a 1971 Washington quarter, we're talking about a coin from a very specific time in American history. The early 1970s were marked by significant political and economic shifts. The country was recovering from the social upheavals of the 1960s, and the Vietnam War was still ongoing. On the economic front, inflation was beginning to pick up, which eventually led to the stagflation of the 1970s. This was also a time when the U.S. Mint was producing millions of quarters to keep up with the growing demand for coinage in the economy. The 1971 Washington quarter was part of that production, but what makes the 1971 Washington quarter unique, and why are collectors starting to pay so much attention to this seemingly ordinary coin? The key lies in its rarity and the condition of the coin. While millions of these quarters were minted, not all of them survived the rigors of circulation. Over time, most of these quarters were used in daily transactions, worn down by the constant handling and movement through vending machines, cash registers, and wallets. Finding one in pristine condition is becoming more and more rare. You might be thinking, I have a bunch of 1,971 quarters, how could they be worth anything? Well, it's important to know that collectors are not only looking for the coins that are in good condition, they're searching for the uncirculated or proof coins. These are the coins that were never used in circulation and were instead set aside by the U.S. Mint or collectors. When a coin is untouched by time and wear, it becomes a much more valuable collector's item. In fact, a 1971 Washington quarter that has been carefully preserved can fetch a pretty impressive sum in the right market. The next thing collectors look for is the mint mark. Mint marks are important because they tell us where the coin was produced. In 1971, the U.S. Mint produced quarters at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, denoted by no mint mark; Denver, denoted by a D; and San Francisco, denoted by an S. The mint mark plays a big role in determining the rarity of a coin, with coins from certain mints being less common and therefore more valuable. So, if you happen to have a 1971 Washington quarter from the San Francisco Mint, you might just have a hidden gem in your hands. But here's the real kicker: mint errors. Mint errors can make a coin exponentially more valuable, and this is where things get really exciting for collectors. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, creating a coin with a flaw that wasn't intended. For the 1971 Washington quarter, there are a few types of errors that could make a coin stand out. Some of these include double dies, where certain elements of the coin's design appear doubled, or off-center strikes, where the coin's design is misaligned. These errors are incredibly rare, and they make the coin one of a kind. If you happen to stumble upon a 1971 Washington quarter with an error, you could be holding on to a treasure worth thousands of dollars. Collectors absolutely love mint error coins because they are not only rare but also carry a unique story. Minting errors are a testament to the human element behind the process of coin production, and they make each error coin a little piece of history that can never be duplicated. When you find one of these rare coins, it becomes a prized possession, and collectors are more than willing to pay top dollar to add them to their collections. Now, you may be wondering, how much could your 1971 Washington quarter be worth? Well, the answer depends on a few key factors. First, we look at the condition. If your coin is in excellent, uncirculated condition, it's already worth more than the typical quarter. Coins that have been kept in a safe and secure environment are much more valuable than those that have been circulating for years. Then there's the mint mark. If you've got a 1971 Washington quarter with a mint mark from the San Francisco Mint, you're looking at something even rarer. And if that coin has a mint error, then you can expect even more demand from collectors. Now, for the moment you've been waiting for, how much could your 1971 Washington quarter really be worth? If you've got a pristine, uncirculated 1971 Washington quarter, or even better, one with a rare mint error from the San Francisco Mint, you could be looking at a value of $80,000. Yes, you heard that right, $80,000 for a single coin. It's incredible how something as simple as a quarter, something that's been a part of everyday life for so many years, could hold such a high value. So, next time you're sorting through your coin collection or going through your pocket change, take a moment to look at your 1971 Washington quarters. Check for the condition, the mint mark, and of course, any potential minting errors. If you've got one in great condition or with a unique flaw, you might just have a small fortune on your hands. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of one of the most iconic coins in American history, the 1983 Washington quarter dollar. You might be thinking, a quarter from 1983? Is it really worth anything? Well, prepare to be amazed, because this seemingly common coin has the potential to be worth a lot more than you think. The Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932, has been a staple of U.S. currency for decades. This coin features the distinguished profile of George Washington, the first President of the United States. Washington's face, facing left, is prominently displayed on the obverse side, with the inscription, Liberty, above and, In God We Trust, beneath. The reverse side of the coin, however, has evolved over the years. Since 1932, it has mostly shown a majestic eagle perched atop an olive branch and arrows, symbolizing peace and strength. The 1983 Washington quarter, specifically, was part of the ongoing series that has seen its design largely unchanged for several decades. So, why are collectors and enthusiasts paying attention to a 1983 quarter? How could such a coin, which is over 40 years old, possibly be worth a fortune? Well, the story begins with rarity. When most people think about the value of a coin, they often associate it with how rare it is. While the U.S. Mint produced billions of Washington quarters over the years, not all of them are created equal. Some quarters, especially those from specific years, are more highly sought after by collectors due to their condition, mint mark, and potential errors. These factors play a huge role in determining the value of any coin, and the 1983 Washington quarter is no exception. Let's talk about the basics first. Like other quarters, the 1983 Washington quarter was produced in massive quantities. The U.S. Mint created millions of these coins to meet the demand for pocket change and day-to-day transactions. You'll find that most 1983 quarters are relatively easy to come by in terms of circulation. However, condition is where things get interesting. In general, coins that have been circulating in the economy for years tend to show signs of wear and tear. The edges may be worn down, the designs could be less distinct, and the luster that once made them shine may be gone. But what if you were to find a pristine, uncirculated 1983 Washington quarter? If you were lucky enough to find one that's never been used in a transaction, never been touched by the harsh elements of everyday life, then you've got something special on your hands. Coins like this, which are in excellent condition, are far rarer than you might think, even for a coin as recent as the 1983 Washington quarter. One of the key factors that makes certain quarters valuable is the mint mark. In 1983, the U.S. Mint produced quarters at two main locations, the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint. The mint mark is the letter stamped onto the coin to indicate where it was produced. Coins from the Philadelphia Mint usually have no mint mark, while coins from the Denver Mint have a D mint mark on them. You may be wondering, how does this affect value? Well, in general, coins from the Philadelphia Mint tend to be a little more common because they're produced in larger quantities. On the other hand, the Denver Mint coins might be considered a little more valuable due to the slightly lower production numbers, making them a little harder to find in certain conditions. So, if you happen to have a 1983 Washington quarter with a D mint mark, then you're already on the right track toward a more valuable coin. But what truly takes the value of the 1983 Washington quarter to another level are mint errors. Mint errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin's production, resulting in a coin that deviates from the intended design. These errors are incredibly rare and often make a coin worth much more than its face value. For the 1983 Washington quarter, there are several types of errors that collectors are particularly on the lookout for. One common error is the off-center strike, which happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process. This results in part of the coin's design being cut off, making it a unique and highly collectible piece. Another potential error is the double die. A double die occurs when the die used to stamp the coin is improperly aligned, creating a doubled appearance of some of the details on the coin, such as the lettering or the image of Washington's face. These minting errors are some of the most exciting finds for collectors because they make the coin stand out from the rest. Now, you might be asking, what's the value of a 1983 Washington quarter? Well, here's where things get really exciting. The value of a regular 1983 Washington quarter is relatively modest. Most are worth just the face value of 25 cents. However, when you find a pristine, uncirculated 1983 quarter, or one with a rare mint error, things start to change. The price can increase exponentially, especially when you factor in the demand from serious coin collectors. For example, if you have a 1983 Washington quarter from the Denver Mint, in perfect condition, or even better, one with a rare mint error, collectors would be willing to pay a premium for that coin. Prices can range from a few $100s for a mint error coin in good condition to several $1,000s for a perfectly preserved piece. And here's the big reveal: if you have a 1983 Washington quarter with a significant error or in perfect, uncirculated condition, you might just be holding a coin that could fetch an astounding price of $85,000. That's right, $85,000 for a single coin. It's hard to believe that a quarter that's so relatively recent could carry such a high price tag, but it's all about the rarity, the condition, and the demand. So, next time you're going through your pocket change or digging through a coin jar, make sure to take a closer look at your 1983 Washington quarters. Check for any signs of mint errors or any that appear to be in pristine condition. You never know, your everyday pocket change might be worth more than you ever imagined. Today, we're going to explore a truly fascinating piece of American currency, the 1979 Washington quarter dollar. This coin, which might seem like just another piece of change from the late 70s, could actually be worth much more than you might think. If you've ever come across one of these coins in your pocket change, you might want to take a second look. It might be worth a small fortune. The Washington quarter, introduced in 1932, has a long history as one of the most iconic coins in the United States. Featuring George Washington's portrait on the obverse, it has become a symbol of the country's history and values. For decades, this coin has been minted and distributed to the public in large numbers, and while most of these quarters are common and easily found in circulation, certain years, mint marks, and conditions can make them highly collectible and valuable. The 1979 Washington quarter, while seemingly not that rare, holds potential for coin collectors and enthusiasts who are looking to find a gem hidden in their collections. To understand why this quarter could be worth so much, it's important to take a deeper dive into its history, the specifics of its minting, and what makes it stand out among other quarters produced that year. In 1979, the U.S. Mint produced millions of quarters for circulation, and like most other years in the series, the production of this coin was relatively straightforward. The coin was designed to be used in everyday transactions, and many of them, unfortunately, ended up in worn-out condition after years of handling. But here's where things get interesting: certain factors can make a 1979 Washington quarter much more valuable than its face value. First, let's look at the mint mark. The mint mark is a small letter on the coin that tells you where it was produced. In 1979, there were two primary minting locations, Philadelphia and Denver. Philadelphia coins are typically not stamped with a mint mark, while Denver coins are marked with a D mint mark. These tiny letters, often overlooked by casual collectors, are key to understanding the rarity and value of a coin. In general, coins from the Philadelphia Mint are more common, which means they aren't worth as much as those from the Denver Mint, where production numbers were often lower. So, if you happen to find a 1979 quarter with a D mint mark, you're already looking at a potentially more valuable coin than a run-of-the-mill 1979 quarter from Philadelphia. This is one of the first things collectors look for when they're assessing a coin's value. Next, we need to talk about the condition of the coin. The value of a coin is heavily influenced by its condition, or what collectors call its grade. Coins that have been in circulation for decades, like the 1979 Washington quarter, often show signs of wear. This wear can include things like scratches, discoloration, and even dents. A coin that has been well preserved, on the other hand, can command a much higher price. If you've got a 1979 Washington quarter that's in uncirculated condition, meaning it's never been used in a transaction and has remained pristine throughout the years, then you're sitting on something potentially very valuable. An uncirculated 1979 Washington quarter, especially one with a mint mark from the Denver Mint, could fetch a higher price due to its rarity in such good condition, but the condition alone isn't always enough to determine the value. Some coins are worth more because of minting errors. These errors occur when something goes wrong during the coin's production process. For example, a coin might be off-center, meaning the design is misaligned. Or, there might be a double die error, where the image or text is stamped twice, creating a blurry or doubled effect. These types of mistakes are rare, and when collectors find a quarter with one of these errors, it can cause the coin's value to skyrocket. Now, let's get to the part you've been waiting for, the value of the 1979 Washington quarter. While most 1979 quarters are worth only their face value of 25 cents, there are certain factors that can make them worth much more. An uncirculated 1979 Washington quarter with a mint mark from the Denver Mint, or one with a rare mint error, can be worth a significant amount of money to the right collector. The price for a 1979 Washington quarter can range anywhere from a few dollars for a well-worn coin to several hundred or even thousands of dollars for one in pristine condition or with an error. If you have an uncirculated coin from the Denver Mint, it's not uncommon to see prices in the $100 to $500 range depending on the exact condition and any unique characteristics it might have. But here's where it gets really exciting. If you happen to possess a 1979 Washington quarter with a rare mint error, the value can jump dramatically. Some of these quarters have been known to sell for up to $81,000. That's right, $81,000 for a single coin. While this might seem hard to believe, it's true. The rarity, minting errors, and excellent condition of certain coins can cause their value to soar far beyond what you might expect. Coins that might appear ordinary at first glance can turn out to be extremely valuable to collectors who are willing to pay top dollar for a rare and unique find. If you're lucky enough to come across a 1979 Washington quarter in exceptional condition, or one with a rare mint error, it's worth having it professionally graded. A grading service will assess the coin's quality and assign it a grade, which will help determine its market value. Coins that are graded highly, particularly those with errors, can command prices that will make you reconsider the value of your change jar. So, next time you're going through your pocket change or sifting through old coin collections, take a moment to check your 1979 Washington quarters. Pay attention to the mint mark, the condition of the coin, and any potential errors. You might just have a coin that's worth far more than you imagined. Who knows? You could be holding a coin that's worth $81,000. It's an exciting world, and you never know what treasure might be hiding right under your nose. Today's video is going to be an absolute treat for you. We're diving deep into the history, value, and potential of one of the most iconic coins in American currency, the Washington quarter from 1973. At first glance, this coin may seem like a regular piece of change, but trust me, there's much more to it than meets the eye. A 1973 Washington quarter with the right characteristics could be worth much more than you imagine. In fact, a well-preserved specimen of this coin could potentially be worth $87,000. Now, you might be wondering, why is a 1973 Washington quarter so special? After all, these coins are often seen circulating in pocket change. Well, the truth is that while the 1973 Washington quarter is not the rarest coin by itself, there are certain factors that can make it highly valuable. Today, we'll explore everything you need to know about this fascinating coin, from its history to the factors that can significantly increase its worth. We'll also dive into the nuances of mint marks, grading, and the conditions that make some 1,973 quarters worth thousands, if not tens of thousands, of dollars. The Washington quarter has been in circulation since 1932, and it's one of the most recognizable and cherished coins in the United States. With George Washington's portrait on the obverse and an eagle perched on an olive branch on the reverse, the design is symbolic of the nation's heritage. The coin was initially introduced to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, and it has continued to be a significant part of American currency ever since. Fast forward to 1973, and the U.S. Mint was still cranking out these quarters, but not all of them were created equally. Some, especially those with certain characteristics, could turn out to be extremely valuable. In 1973, the U.S. Mint produced a large number of quarters for circulation. As with many years, most of these coins were made for everyday transactions, meaning they were used and handled regularly, often resulting in wear and tear. As a result, most of the 1973 Washington quarters you come across will have been well worn from years of use, but this doesn't mean that every 1973 quarter is created equal. When it comes to coin collecting, the condition of the coin is one of the most important factors in determining its value. So, if you happen to have a 1973 Washington quarter that has been kept in excellent condition, you could be looking at something quite valuable. Let's talk about the mint mark. This little letter on the coin can tell you where it was minted, and believe it or not, the mint mark plays a crucial role in determining the coin's value. In 1973, Washington quarters were minted in several locations across the country. You'll typically see two different mint marks on these coins: the D mint mark, which indicates the coin was minted in Denver, and the S mint mark, which signifies that the coin came from the San Francisco Mint. There is also a very small number of 1,973 quarters with no mint mark, indicating they were produced in Philadelphia. The mint mark can drastically affect the value of the coin. Coins from the San Francisco Mint tend to be rarer than those from the Denver Mint, so they can be worth a bit more. But it's not just the mint mark that makes a coin valuable, it's also the condition of the coin. You've probably heard the term uncirculated thrown around in the coin world. This refers to coins that have never been used in everyday transactions and have been preserved in pristine condition. A 1973 Washington quarter in uncirculated condition will be far more valuable than one that's been worn down after years of being in circulation. The grade of the coin is also essential when determining its value. Coin grading involves evaluating the physical condition of the coin, from its wear to its overall appearance. The grading scale used by professional coin graders ranges from poor, P1, to mint state, MS70, with many collectors seeking coins that fall into the higher end of this scale. A 1973 Washington quarter that is graded at MS65 or higher, meaning it is in near perfect or excellent condition, could fetch a higher price than a coin that is worn or damaged. One of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting is the possibility of finding coins with mint errors, small imperfections that occurred during the production process. These errors can significantly increase a coin's value, and certain errors are highly sought after by collectors. Some of the common errors that might make a 1973 Washington quarter valuable include things like double dies, where the design has been struck twice, resulting in a blurry or doubled image. There can also be off-center strikes, where the coin design is misaligned, creating a unique look. These types of errors are rare, so if you come across a 1973 Washington quarter with one of these characteristics, you could be holding a coin worth much more than its face value. Now, let's get into the most exciting part, the value of the 1973 Washington quarter. While most of the coins from this year are worth only their face value of 25 cents, certain conditions can make them worth much more. As mentioned earlier, a well-preserved 1973 Washington quarter in uncirculated condition or with a mint error can fetch a higher price. Coins from the San Francisco Mint, in particular, tend to be rarer and may be worth a bit more. But here's where things get really exciting. A 1973 Washington quarter in excellent condition, with a mint error or from a rarer mint, can command a price of up to $87,000. Yes, you read that correctly. $87,000. That's the potential value for a particularly rare and well-preserved 1973 Washington quarter, and this is exactly why coin collecting is so thrilling. You never know when you might come across a coin that's worth far more than you expected. Whether you're an experienced collector or just starting out, this is the type of find that could change your life. If you have a 1973 Washington quarter and you think it might be valuable, the first step is to carefully examine the coin. Look for any signs of wear, damage, or mint errors. Pay attention to the mint mark and the condition of the coin. If you think your coin might be worth something, it's worth getting it professionally graded. A professional grader can give you a precise evaluation of your coin's quality and tell you exactly what it's worth on the market. Coin collecting is a fascinating hobby, and with the right knowledge and a bit of luck, you could find yourself holding a valuable piece of American history. So, next time you come across a 1973 Washington quarter, don't just toss it into your change jar. Take a closer look, it could be worth more than you ever imagined. Today, we're going to explore an intriguing piece of American history, the 1982 Washington quarter. At first glance, this coin might seem like a regular, everyday quarter, but don't be fooled. If you happen to own a 1982 Washington quarter with the right characteristics, it could be worth an unbelievable amount of money. In fact, the value of a rare and well-preserved example of this coin has been known to reach up to $96,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $96,000 for a coin that was once just a simple part of the change you'd find in your pocket. So, what makes the 1982 Washington quarter so valuable, and how can you determine if your coin is worth that much? In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the history, features, and factors that contribute to the extraordinary value of this particular quarter. We'll explore the mint marks, grades, and the important characteristics that can turn a common coin into a rare and highly sought-after treasure. We'll also examine how coin collectors and investors assess the worth of a coin and what makes a 1982 Washington quarter stand out in the world of numismatics. Let's begin by setting the stage with a little background information. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. The coin features a portrait of the first President of the United States, George Washington, on the obverse, with the reverse showcasing an eagle in flight, symbolizing strength and freedom. The design has remained relatively unchanged over the years, and the Washington quarter has become one of the most iconic and beloved coins in American history. Now, fast forward to 1982. The United States Mint was producing millions of these coins every year, but like with any series, some years and certain minting processes yield rarer, more valuable specimens. For most people, the 1982 Washington quarter doesn't seem all that special. After all, there were millions of them minted, and most are still found in circulation today. So, what makes a 1982 Washington quarter stand out and potentially command a value of $96,000? The answer lies in the condition of the coin, its mint mark, and other factors that affect its rarity. Let's first talk about the minting process. In 1982, the U.S. Mint produced the Washington quarter at multiple locations across the country, and the mint mark located on the coin tells us where it was struck. You'll find two common mint marks for the 1982 Washington quarter: the D mint mark, which indicates the coin was minted in Denver, and the P mint mark, which signifies it was struck in Philadelphia. Coins minted in Philadelphia often have no mint mark at all, while those from Denver are marked with the letter D. However, the story doesn't end there. The condition of the coin is arguably the most important factor when determining its value. As with all collectibles, a coin in better condition will naturally command a higher price. This is where things get interesting with the 1982 Washington quarter. Most of the coins from this year were in circulation for decades, which means they've seen wear and tear. The edges become worn, the features begin to fade, and the coin becomes less sharp and defined. For a coin to be considered valuable, it must retain much of its original detail. Coins that are in uncirculated condition, meaning they've been well preserved and have never been used in transactions, are particularly valuable. A 1982 Washington quarter in this condition could fetch significantly more than one that has been worn down from use, but it's not just about the overall condition of the coin, we also need to consider grading. Coin grading is a process where professional numismatists assign a score to the coin based on its visual characteristics. The grading scale ranges from poor to mint state, with the highest grades being MS 65 or higher. For a 1982 Washington quarter to be worth $96,000, it would likely have to be graded MS 67 or higher. Coins in this grade would have sharp, clear features, no visible scratches, and would appear nearly flawless to the naked eye. The better the grade, the higher the potential value of the coin. Let's also talk about errors. In the world of coin collecting, a coin with a minting error can be much more valuable than one without. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production process, such as a double strike, off-center strike, or die crack. While most of the 1982 Washington quarters were produced without errors, some rare specimens made it into circulation with noticeable flaws. A 1982 Washington quarter with a double die error, for example, where the image is doubled due to a mistake in the die, can increase the value of the coin dramatically. These types of errors are highly sought after by collectors, and a 1982 Washington quarter with an error can sell for far more than its face value. Now, let's break down the factors that can make this coin worth so much. If you happen to find a 1982 Washington quarter that has been well preserved, features a rare mint error, and is graded as an uncirculated coin, you could potentially be sitting on a treasure worth $96,000. This is not just a piece of change, it's a piece of history, a rarity, and a coin that collectors would fight to own. A coin with such exceptional quality can fetch a price that far exceeds what most people think a quarter is worth. However, it's important to note that finding a 1982 Washington quarter worth $96,000 is extremely rare. Most of the 1982 quarters out there won't even come close to that price. But the possibility of finding a highly valuable coin, whether it's a high-quality example or one with a mint error, is part of the excitement of coin collecting. You never know when you might come across that one gem that could change your collecting experience forever. So, if you happen to have a 1982 Washington quarter in your collection, here's what you should do. First, carefully examine the coin. Check the mint mark and the condition. Look for any unusual features or errors that could set it apart. Next, get the coin professionally graded by a trusted grading service. They can give you an accurate idea of its quality and value. If you're lucky enough to have a coin in top condition with an error or a high grade, you could be looking at a rare and valuable collector's item. In conclusion, the 1982 Washington quarter may seem like an ordinary coin, but for collectors and investors, it has the potential to be something extraordinary. With the right conditions, whether it's the grade, the mint mark, or an error, the value of this coin can skyrocket. If you're fortunate enough to have one of these rare, high-quality quarters, you could be sitting on a coin worth $96,000. The world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and with a keen eye and a little luck, you might just find your own hidden treasure. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy collecting.